and welcome to this week's Orlando World Sunday Showdown round of 32 episode. This week we head to the Magic Kingdom for a battle between Frontierland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Fantasyland's It's a Small World attractions. Here's a little bit of information about both of these attractions. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is one of the most recognizable theme park rides in the world. It opened on the 23rd of September, 1980 in the Frontierland area of Magic Kingdom. Dubbed the wildest ride in the wilderness, the attraction is actually a very family-friendly ride, although maybe a little more adventurous for very young or vulnerable riders. It travels at a fairly quick pace, mostly due to its rugged layout, with plenty of twists and dips around the mountains and through dark caverns, and past plenty of gushing water. The ride is a fun attraction which packs a surprisingly big punch, and is one of the most enjoyable attractions within Magic Kingdom. It's a Small World is a water ride located in the Fantasyland area of the park, which opened on the 1st of October 1971, after the success of the original concept being incredibly popular at the 1964 New York World's Fair and moved to Disneyland in California. The ride travels through various cultural locations, visiting countries from all across the globe, with hundreds of animatronic figures set in the scene, in one of the most vivid of attractions ever seen, with cascades of colour, and a delightful charm which highlights the various countries throughout the ride. The complexity of the ride, and the vast amount of objects on display, makes it an attraction which holds many surprises, which guests will find something new each time they ride. Now let's get into this week's series of rounds to see which attraction will advance to the round of 16. Let's go straight to round 1. The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is the unmistakably southwestern-themed attraction at Magic Kingdom. The attraction has a striking resemblance to areas like Arizona, with a towering landscape of caves, waterfalls, geysers, mountain animals, skeletons and plenty of Wild Western-themed shafts and bridges to set the theme perfectly. The ride features genuine mining equipment from yesteryear enhancing the authenticity of the ride, along with 6,500 tons of steel beams, rods and mesh, 4,675 tons of concrete, 90,000 gallons of water and 4,000 gallons of desert paint which were used to create the iconic ride structure. Thunder Mountain is themed around the Big Thunder Mining Company, where throughout the queue, you can interact with crank levers, plungers and explosive devices which set out effects around areas of the ride itself, adding a unique element to each ride, as effects are purely at random in between set automated effects. It's a Small World started as a New York World's Fair attraction in 1964, where the premise for the attraction was all about world unity and peace. The attraction centres around a multicultural boat ride, throughout numerous countries around the world, with a showcase of traditional and somewhat stereotypical scenes throughout, and music playing in the language of the representative countries. It's a Small World is designed to look like the inner workings of a clock, with gear-like movements, and chimes and an impressive number of animatronic figures designed to look like wooden dolls, reminiscent of a mixture of styles from doll houses and musical boxes. The attraction is themed heavily in this area, and looks impressive, and creates a youthfulness and innocence, taking riders right back to their childhood, with a ride that has a very simple concept for such a complex design for a ride. But in round 1, just narrowly taking the first point, it's the railroad attraction, which is one of the most recognizable attractions on the planet, with an incredibly realistic theme throughout. Let's head on to round 2. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a fairly decent length for a family-friendly roller coaster. The track was designed slightly differently from traditional coasters, where Thunder Mountain's track was built around the themed area after the mountain structure was built, instead of building the track first. This was done for several reasons, mainly due to restrictions with the land area being a little smaller than what was essentially needed, and also to help make the ride more authentic, by designing it to look like it was built naturally as it would have been, had it been built in the historical Southwestern era. With a range of air-hopping drops adding an unpredictability to the rustic track layout, as well as passing by rattling wooden bridges and hurtling round tight bends, the length of ride feels a lot longer than the 2,671 feet that it already is, which is testament to the ride design. It's a Small World is surprisingly a fairly short ride considering the attraction's long duration. The boats move through the ride at a very slow pace, and with added forced perspective, the sets look much bigger than they are, making the ride look much longer in length than it really is. The boat's track length is a fairly modest 1,085 feet, which many people find surprising, as it does feature a vast amount of scenery and objects, and numerous countries to visit, all crammed into a short track area. Which means in the second round, fairly comfortably, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad takes the second point and a 2-point lead going into round 3. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a longer roller coaster ride compared to many of the bigger roller coaster rides. It has an impressive ride duration of 3 minutes and 25 seconds, which for roller coaster track ride, is a bit longer than most roller coaster rides. Although nowhere near as intense, it does offer a fairly good amount of excitement with its runway-style track, which does pack a punch despite its fairly modest speeds of around 30 miles per hour. The ride is fun, and doesn't pass too quickly, with a few areas where the trains slow down to anticipate the upcoming tight turns and twists of the track, adding a little thrill. It's a Small World is one of Disney's lengthier attractions. It's an extremely slow ride, running on a very short water-based track. The attraction operates for an approximate duration of 14 minutes and provides a massive amount of content to take in within that time period. The one downside to it being extremely lengthy is the repetitiveness of the title song throughout, which can become a little tedious after a while. However, the attraction is interesting, and showcases world cultures, and provides an educational aspect for younger children, which makes the 14-minute duration a plus point. So in round 3, being a clearly far superior attraction for ride duration, It's a Small World claims a point back going into the penultimate round. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was in development in the 70s, but was delayed for almost a decade with other ventures at Disney taking place at the same time. The ride opened in 1980 at Magic Kingdom, making it one of the longest operating attractions within the park. Thunder Mountain is synonymous with Magic Kingdom, and is one of the most popular attractions within the park, and provides an incredibly stunning backdrop for park guests who want to capture memorable photos with the iconic red rock structure. Being in service for almost 40 years, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has cemented itself as one of Disney's most loved attractions, and shows no signs of its popularity dropping, keeping it at the forefront of Disney's best rides. It's a Small World as a concept has been around for over 55 years, with Magic Kingdom's version being in operation for 48 of those. The attraction holds a fiercely loyal following, remaining as popular now as it was in 1964 at the New York World's Fair. The ride has seen several refurbishments over the years, to maintain a fresh look, but much of the ride remains the same as it was when first built. with many guests considering It's a Small World as a timeless Disney classic which represents the original values of Disney parks since their inception. It's a Small World has been a revelation in terms of traditional amusement rides, and being in service decades later, while still being one of the most popular rides, is an incredible feat. So in round 4, It's a Small World makes a comeback, leveling the score, going into the all-deciding 5th and final round. For thrills, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad isn't the most intense rides, and isn't the most thrilling either. However, it's exciting, and does offer a rush, with its fairly powerful trains. Considering the fairly average pace, as it whips around the frantic layout throughout the Wild West mountain range, younger riders will find it an enthralling runaway ride, while the most adventurous of roller coaster riders will find it fairly tame, but gives riders a chance to enjoy the stunning theme work of the attraction. Simply put, a visit to Magic Kingdom is never considered complete without a ride on the iconic railway line, as it's a fun, wacky race through a fantastic ride, which leaves you wanting more. It's a Small World by all accounts is an extremely tame attraction. If you are looking for a splash fest being a boat ride, or to be blown away by incredible theming or an immersive experience, then this won't be for you. Nonetheless, the attraction is an incredibly valuable experience for everyone, and there's a genuine appreciation for the novelty of the attraction, where it provides a very enjoyable experience. It's a Small World offers guests an escape from the busy parks, and has a charming theme, with an incredible display of moving figurines, stunning backdrops, and an impressive range of styles and colours, giving out a simple but effective message, as well as an innocent, childlike look at the traditions and cultures of the world. It's a good attraction, worthy of a visit, but in round 5, it doesn't offer the kind of thrills like other attractions, meaning the final point this week goes to the railroad attraction. So after a back and forth challenge this week, we do now have a winner. Which means that Disney's traditional attraction It's a Small World drops out of the competition. It's a Small World is one of the most important attractions in Disney history, which continues to hold a valuable place with many park guests. Its near 5-decade run at Magic Kingdom is impressive, and it will continue on for generations to come. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad advances to the next round. Tune in next week for a thrilling contest between Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey in Mako. See you next week. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please support us by subscribing to our channel. You can find us on social media platforms. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Orlando Worlds, and on Instagram at the Orlando Worlds. Thanks for watching.